Hi, I'm Seth Johnson, Nouveau music editor. I'm here with Wildstyle. If you've been around the hip hop community at all here in the last couple of years, you probably know who Wildstyle is. We're going to kind of get a little bit of info on his background, how long he's been in NAP, and then some of the things that he's been working on lately. First off, Wildstyle, can you kind of give me a background on when you first came to NAP, how you got plugged into the local hip hop scene?
I guess I came here in 1981 when my mom had me at Methodist.
Yeah.
Most people don't know my age. I'm a little older than a lot of people on the scene, but I grew up on the northwest side for a while, and then I lived on the far east side for a long time. Then I came back to the northwest side. So.
Yeah. And how did you first get plugged into the hip hop scene here?
That's hard to say. So back in my slim days, I used to roller skate, and the hip hop scene used to kind of revolve around the rink as well.
Oh, okay.
And this was around 2001, and one of my buddies, he was a DJ up there, and he was playing something, and I was like, "What is this?" You know, it didn't have any words or anything. It was a instrumental, and he's like, "I made it." I was like, "You made that?" He was like, "Yeah, I used the MTV music generator for PlayStation." And I'm like, "Damn, I want to try that." You know, I always wanted to be a hip hop producer, but I mean, I had a background in orchestra in high school, but I didn't have any other connection other than listening on the radio.
Yeah.
So he was like, "You ought to try it." I mean, you know, it's like cheap to go get the game off of eBay and everything else. So I went and did it.
Yeah.
And I started making beats in 2001.
Okay.
I flirted with the idea of having rappers on there, but it didn't happen for another 10 years.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was around 2001 I finally got somebody and started like really producing them instead of just making beats.
Yeah. Were you plugged in to go into shows at all in those years at all?
Around I think 2008 and 2009, I started going to some of the shows, and I like when G-Fresh shot his On My Mama video, I was actually at the video shoot. I just wasn't in the video, but I was actually there. So I used to kind of started, you know, getting involved a little bit there, but I still didn't, you know, I wasn't that heavily involved. I just kind of watched.
Yeah. When would you say you got more heavily involved?
When I got laid off from work in 2012.
Okay. Right.
So, by trade, I was an auto mechanic, and I had been on this job for almost 8 years.
Okay.
And I got laid off. Basically, the US 31 was coming up through there, and it was about to wipe out Tutwiler Cadillac, so they were laying off. They had laid off everybody else. Everybody else had left. Yeah. And it was only one other mechanic, so they laid me off early, and then they closed like a few months later.
Yeah, damn.
So it was cool.
Yeah.
Because all this time I always said, well, you know, I'm busy. You know, back then I was running a roller skating club, Naptown Skate Nation, and before that I was vice president of the Naptown Real Rollers. So they do the Circle City Classic Parade every year, and the Skate Alliance and all that. Yeah. So back then I was busy, and I was like, I ain't got time to focus on music. I wish I did. Yeah. And when I got laid off, I was like, I ain't got no excuses anymore. Yeah. So you know, I was getting unemployment, and so I went and I was like, okay. Yeah. I'm gonna be a real producer. At least that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And I realized I wasn't as good as I thought it
was. Who were some of the guys that you like first started producing for?
My cousin Dion and a dude named Fred.
Okay.
And they were on the first track that I actually, you know, can say I produced. Yeah. And it came out in 2011. Okay. Maybe 50 people heard it. I don't know. I remember they did open for Gucci Mane at what was it called then? I think it was called Cloud 9 back then. It's called Limelight now.
Okay.
And you know, I did that for a little bit in 2011. Yeah. took a break. You know, I love my family and everything, but I don't think we need to be doing music together that intense. So I chilled out and focused on my skate club until I got laid off.
Okay, yeah. So then I guess from there, who did you work with between maybe then and like in recent? I know you've worked with Pope a lot in recent years.
Yeah.
But talk to me kind of about some of the people that have come into the picture along the way.
So when I moved back over to the northwest side into a house, because I've been living in an apartment before that.
Yeah.
I actually put up a real recording studio instead of just a production studio.
Okay.
So I had Fred come back for a little bit. That didn't work out. And then I worked with the artist named Rico V.
Okay.
He got killed in 2015, but he was really an amazing rapper. I mean, he was difficult to deal with. Me and him didn't get along, but he was like a little brother.
Okay.
And I'm proud of what we accomplished. I think in a year he didn't have a project out, and you know before that, and then in a year we put out a mixtape, all original project. A lot of people covered it. Nouveau covered it back then. 96.3. A lot of other blogs covered it.
Yeah.
It was really good for my career, and I think it was pretty good for his career as well.
Yeah. Word. And then from there, other people that you worked with.
AG the Pharaoh was he was also in the studio at the same time, but I focused more on his career after working with Rico. And it was about that time I met up with Pope for the first time. And it started off slow. He'd come over and he recorded a track or two here and there.
Yeah.
And it kind of just was building where I ended up becoming his, main producer.
Yeah. As a producer, who are some people that you maybe look up to?
Timberland was when I heard his stuff growing up. That was the stuff that was like, man, I wish I could do something like this. Or Manny Fresh, when Cash Money came out with the Juvenile came out with 400 Degrees, man. I was just like, I listened to that and I'm just listening to beats like I don't know what's going on here, but I want to do that.
Yeah.
And then even later on, Lex Luger. When he was, he was working with Waka Flocka. It was cool. It was like, okay, I don't understand this, but I like it.
Yeah.
And he started working with Rick Ross, and they put out that stuff, and it was like a grown sexy vibe to the stuff, but it was still trap beats. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Word. Well, cool. Talk to me then a little bit about when you started 317 Hip Hop and when that came into the picture.
So it goes back to around 2015 was when the artists that I was kind of managing and quasi producing, they all started getting more shows. Yeah. And as a manager, it's like, okay, I need to figure out a way to promote the shows, the artists, and this and that, and everything. So I'm like, okay, we gotta get photographers. In. And no knock on the photographers, because there's all types of different photography, but the photographers weren't getting what I felt I needed as a manager to promote them. I would look at the shots and it was like, I don't want to go to this event. And I need the shot to look like you missed out because you didn't go to the event.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was like, look, I'm just, I'm gonna take the pictures myself. Yeah. So I borrowed one of my OG's cameras because him and his girlfriend don't use it that often, and so I borrowed it for like a month. And what I realized was I loved it. Yeah. I love photography. Yeah. And so I started building up on that, and so, I was supposed to just really come to take pictures of my artists and everything. Yeah. I'd end up taking pictures of everybody. Then I found myself, I'd start going to shows that they weren't even on, taking pictures, and so I was hanging out at City Dump Records. Okay. Talking to Icon, and he was like, you ought to start a photography blog. You got all these pictures of a local artist. You ought to go start a photography blog. You just do it on Instagram. You can switch accounts now. And I was like, what? Yeah. So I think I did it the next day, and that's how all 317 Hip Hop was born.
Cool. I'm also curious to hear kind of your opinions as well. I mean, you've been, even though like you didn't really start producing until like you said like 2015ish, but like from when you first got introduced to the hip hop scene to now, what is the difference? What differences are there? How do things look different from your perspective?
The quality is higher.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, you know, around 2013, when I opened my little studio in my house.
Yeah.
I didn't have the best sound quality, but it really competed with just about anything anybody else was putting out.
Yeah.
Like there was people who were better, but it wasn't a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
And now everything I'm listening to, it's like, okay, you know, because I'm an engineer, you know, recording engineer as well, and I'm like, ooh, you know,
Yeah.
I need to step my game up, or I need to make sure that I'm sounding as good as this over here.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like a lot of no-name studios that are really just popping out great sound quality. I think artists are getting. I'm not gonna say they're more creative, but I think with better engineering, you're able to hear
Mm-hmm.
how creative they really are.
Yeah.
Instead of just sounding weird or muffled, and, you know, they're
Yeah.
sounding really amazing. So
Yeah. What about like support wise from the community? What is that? How has that shifted or been different?
I think that in general, I think it is growing.
Mm-hmm.
Even before Treese,
Mm-hmm.
I think the support culminated into, okay, now there's a possibility of a Treese
Yeah.
happening. And when Treese happened, and it got all these many more people to go to a festival that was mainly just for, you know, Indianapolis, you know, Indiana
Mm-hmm.
hip hop artists and not mainstream artists, it got everybody's attention. It was like, oh, you know, local artists have value.
Yeah.
They have talent, they have skills, and they actually entertained, you know, this crowd mostly on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, Treese built upon that, but I think that Treese is what like really got it out to a lot more people in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
That, hey, we need to, you know, start dealing with the local artists and checking them out.
Mm-hmm. That being said, then talk to me a little bit about this idea that you have for kind of spreading local hip hop more.
So it's basically, and I'm waffling on the names, but it's
Mm-hmm.
probably going to be the Indie Hip Hop Curation Project.
Okay.
And I've got a lot of different partners that are willing to help out.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest thing, you know, it stems back to we need to attack the fans, not
Mm-hmm.
like we all know about each other. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
so and so rapper over here knows about so and so rapper over there,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of us listening to each other, producers listening to each other, blah blah blah. But when I talk to my neighbors, there's only a couple locals that they hear, and then
Yeah.
people that they might be interested, but they don't know who to check out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think better curation, like Treese was a curated experience of some of the best hip hop artists
Yeah.
in the region, and we need that on Spotify,
Mm-hmm.
Apple Music, Tidal,
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, wherever people are checking out music. Because that, I mean, if we look at it, that's how the record labels are getting their artists broken, is through playlists.
Yep. Yep.
And we need to have, you know, better curation of hip hop in Indianapolis, so that your neighbors, people that don't normally come to shows, it's like, oh, I checked out this playlist, I like so and so, so and so,
Yeah.
so and so, because the music is there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been there for a few years now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that we just haven't got the marketing and promo in the right forum to do it. So I think with this project, I've got a few people on board. The build with Kepler Institute is
Cool.
helped me,
Mm-hmm.
guide me. The learning tree, obviously.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talked to MFT about it, so they're
Mhm.
on board.
Cool.
Nap or Nothing store as a brand ambassador
Okay.
with Maxi. They're on board.
Cool.
God, if I'm missing somebody, if I talked to somebody about it and I forgot to miss you, I apologize.
Yeah.
And, you know, those are just the organizations. A lot of other people I've talked to.
Yeah.
But basically, there's going to be curators, and it's not going to be me. Oh, I'm picking my favorites. I'm having other curators come and people that I've identified that are talented at being able to make a playlist that's going to keep people engaged and keep people listening and coming back.
Yeah.
To take pools of local artists, music, hip hop artists, and R&B, and put it in there. Also mix it in with national acts.
Yeah. And
have a product that, okay, if I'm mainly on YouTube, then there's a YouTube playlist, or actually there's a whole bunch of YouTube playlists available by what subgenre of hip hop. If I only want to hear boom bap and the old school style, well then you got local artists that do it very well.
Yeah.
It'll be in there in that section. If you want something with auto-tune on it, because sometimes when people don't like each other and the music, you got to give it to them separately. Okay, then you got a playlist. If you want something in the middle, if you want it all combined, there'll be playlists. And I think this is the best way to engage fans in Central Indiana, not to just turn them on to just the artists. I think, because if it's just the artists I want, then it's going to be Pope Adrian Bless. Shameless plug.
Yeah.
But I want them to see that there's a lot of other great talented artists.
Yeah.
I just don't have time to work with them, or don't have the ability to go the direction that they want to. But there's so many talented artists, and the scene as a whole deserves to have the attention, and we need to have outside, and I mean outside our scene, not outside our region, outside of our scene, people looking in and wanting to invest and get to know the artists and the music and the culture a little bit more.
Yeah. That's really all I have for you. Is there anything else you'd want to plug? Any projects you're working on other than that?
War Machine. That's coming out with Pope Adrian Bless.
Yeah.
I could lie to you and say that the date is set in stone, but that would be a lie.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
Word. Right on. Cool, man. Well, it was a pleasure chatting with you.
All right, man.
Yeah, man.